You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What a great night at the ballpark for the Houston Astros. And boy, oh boy, did they need that in the worst way possible. Welcome into the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight following a very, very nice 4-0 win for the Houston Astros on a day where the Astros, or at least the fans, get 2 wins, right? You get the moving on from Jose Abreu, and you get a win on the field. What a day it was. We'll talk about the Abreu thing. I do want to share some thoughts briefly when we finish it up. Of course, that news coming out earlier today, but the storyline of the day for the Astros was the victory in Hunter Brown and what he did on the mound tonight. Absolutely fantastic. This episode tonight is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. And use code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Hunter Brown tonight, filthy, nasty, disgusting. Everything about his start was perfect. And the Astros have needed him. We all know with the injury situation, you've lost 2 pitchers for the year in Christian Javier and Jose Urquidy. And at least you got something out of Javier. You didn't get anything out of Urquidy. But you lose those 2 guys. And Hunter Brown and Spencer Arrighetti are 2 guys that are really going to have to step up. And over the last month, these 2 pitchers have really done that. And nobody has figured it out more than Hunter Brown. And we are watching him hopefully take that next level of his maturity as a big leaguer. All the stuff we've always heard about that he has, you're seeing it every single time now that he goes out there. They change up the arsenal. They figure out what works for him. And what works for him is to go out there and throw that 2-seamer and get in on hitters. And I think what you saw tonight, him being able to not only get deep into that game, but to be so effective still at basically giving up nothing late in the game, is the fact that he is getting so good with that 2-seam fastball of pitching inside. And that's huge. When you can establish the inside corner as a pitcher early in the baseball game, and you have that hitter knowing that, well, he can run an in on me, and that's going to jam me, or that's going to break my bat. I'm not going to get to whatever it is. That thing's 97 miles an hour. That bothers me. And that keeps guys from diving out over the plate. That keeps guys from protecting, not having to protect against that breaking ball down and away. It sets the tone for the night. And from the jump tonight, Hunter Brown came out slinging that 2-seamer on the inside corner of the plate. And how many guys tonight for the Detroit Tigers fouled a ball off their leg? At least 4 or 5, I think. But, it was that was everything that he has done of late. And it really has kind of started, since he pitched, I think it was in relief out of the bullpen with that game in Detroit. And those games always matter to him, being from Detroit. He's got his whole family back home, his friends back home watching tonight. And you're talking about a guy now that's 2 straight scoreless outings, 13 consecutive shutout innings. Now, look, bad times are going to come back. But if he can go out there, and I think one of the most encouraging things tonight, and it's not going to be perfect like this every single time, but to go out there and to fill up the strike zone and get ahead early, that matters so much as a pitcher. When you are pitching with the advantage, if you go out 0-1, 0-2, I'd have to go back and pull it up and go through it. I'm sure somebody's done it somewhere or will do it. How many times he even fell behind in a count? It felt like he was basically throwing first pitch strikes all night. And that matters. That matters so much. It dictates what the at-bat is going to be. It dictates what you can utilize in the at-bat. It's just, he was awesome. And he is on a run right now where he figured it out. We've talked about it before, but you go back and you look at his month of April. He made 5 starts in April, and he went 0-4 with an 11.84 ERA. Of course, it wasn't horrific. Well, I shouldn't say that. It was horrific. It wasn't horrific in just one start. Here's his runs in those starts: 5, 9, 2, 3. So I guess 2 starts, and then 6. But since the calendar flipped to May, he's gone 2 runs, 1 run, 4 runs, 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, 0, 0. And that 4-run game, is that the game? I think he was good. He was okay. He just gave up, or maybe like the inherited runs that he left on the base pass scored or something. I can't remember exactly. But, I mean, we had reached a point with Hunter Brown, and I know for me personally, where, you know, I didn't want to watch him pitch in the rotation anymore. And with, we were all sitting there thinking, okay, well, you're going to have back McCullers, maybe if he's, still breathing. You're going to get back Luis Garcia to pitch at some point this season. You already have you already at the time you think you have those guys. Like, well, I mean, there's going to be an odd man out. I guess Hunter Brown's going to go to the bullpen, and it's a reminder at how quickly things can change in this sport because of injury, and the pitching depth matters inside of your organization. The Astros aren't blessed with a lot of it, starting pitching wise anymore. They were when everybody was healthy, but at this very moment, they don't have a lot of internal options to start games. So it is vital for this man to step up. And right now, based on the way he's pitched in the last month, and you see the graphic up there, and I do that tongue in cheek, which, good Lord, people just I'll save it for the Abreu stuff, I guess. The internet's the worst. There's too many people on the internet don't know how to read, don't know how to comprehend, don't know how to read. It just drives me nuts, and I'll get to it later. But I write that staff ace Hunter Brown up there, as tongue in cheek, but based on the way he's pitching right now, he's pitching like the staff ace. Fromberg can go out there and toss a complete game against the Angels, and then Fromberg comes back and he's hot garbage in his next start. We all know that. That's the life of Fromberg. The 25, the Framber Valdez consecutive or whatever it is, the Framber Valdez quality start tour, which were cute little T-shirts that they put together a couple years ago. He was dominant. He was worthy of finishing, 3rd in the Cy Young that year, whatever it was. But that guy he's not that guy every time that he goes out. He's just not. And Hunter Brown, now look, he's got to keep doing it. He has to keep doing it. By the way, he got his ERA down to an even 5 now on the season with the win tonight. Good on Hunter Brown for that. But again, if he can bottle this up, which I think really you go back since that 4-run outing against Milwaukee, where again he wasn't horrible, but that's not a good start. It's not a quality start. 4 runs as a starter, if you're having a good start as a starter, you're giving up 3 or less. That's what it is. But since then, he's gone 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 1 run, 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 innings, no runs, 7 innings, no runs. Tonight, 9 strikeouts, no walks. If he pitches like that guy and he can bottle it together, and in those outings, by the way, he's only had 2 of those outings where he had multiple walks, and tonight he had 0 walks. That's exactly what the Astros have to have. And if you put that out there on the mound every 5 days to go along with the good starts that you will get from Framber Valdez, you'll get good starts from Justin Verlander. He's just not as dominant as he once was, and he's not going to be as great as he always was. But you're still going to get some of those outings. I'd imagine you probably get a good one out of him tomorrow. He dominated the Tigers his last time out there when they faced them earlier this year. That's always a game that means a lot to him. So I feel like, you probably get a good one out of him tomorrow. But if you get that out of those 3 and Arrighetti keeps doing his thing, and at some point to me, what kind of, or I always forget Renel Blanco as well, who's been awesome this season. A little blip lately, but he's been awesome overall. and at some point you'll have Luis Garcia available to you. I am not entertaining the thought of Lance McCullers being a starter at all this year. If he's coming back to pitch, he's pitching out of the bullpen. If I'm the Astros, unless Spencer Arrighetti just completely implodes, which Arrighetti's still got some work to do. He's got to quit walking. He's got to do what Hunter Brown's doing. He's got to find a way, and that's a lot to ask of a rookie. I get that. You got to find a way to be more economical, to get deeper into baseball games, to do your thing, and that's what they need out of Arrighetti moving forward. So right now, they have to be thrilled with what they got out of him. It's a quick 3-game homestand, obviously, against Detroit here before they head back out on the road to play Chicago. And look, this is a team, we talked about it after the day game on Wednesday. They have to capitalize in the month of June. And so far in the month of June, they've not capitalized. They've not played good enough baseball. Period. End of story. It's not been horrific, but this is a month where you should crush people. And moving forward the rest of this month, outside of basically that Baltimore series, I'm expecting this baseball team, if they're going to actually be who they believe they are, because they're not that team right now. They're not a good team. The record says that. They are an average team at best when they're going well. These are the kind of nights that you have to put together and keep putting together and snowball it and have a little bit of a streak of it to get everybody to buy back in. And then on top of it, show the league that, yes, you are capable, and then you start doing it. Real quick before we get our little message here to you as we sit during this postcast, which, by the way, you can find on podcast. Search Locked On Astros wherever you get your podcast. And also, if you're new to the channel tonight, please hit the subscribe button. Locked On Sports Houston, if you're listening later, please hit subscribe. We're making our way towards 1,000 subscribers. Can we get there this weekend? I think you guys can pull it off. I'd greatly appreciate it. But the Rangers are playing the Mariners at the moment, and they are actually last time I looked at it, it was Rangers 2-0 in the bottom half of the first, or the top half of the first. Well, bottom half of the first has come up. It's already 2-2. So the Rangers and Andrew Heaney on the mound, we know how that one's probably going to end up tonight. The Mariners will be pulling off a victory in that. We got a lot more to get to. Let's talk about the good on the offensive side tonight. Don't freak out about them scoring in one inning tonight. It's a night where I thought that there was a lot of positivity at the plate with what they did, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. But right now, I need to tell you about where you need to get yourself taken care of, and that's Policygenius. Life insurance. Do you have it? What are you waiting for? We all need it. It's something that matters. Unfortunately, one day will come where we leave loved ones behind, and you want them to be as set up the best way possible, and you do that with Policygenius. They are not in the business of selling you this, selling you that, being biased towards one company, They're there to give you genuine, great advice for your needs. What's best for your needs when it comes to getting your life insurance policy to, again, take care of those loved ones when you, unfortunately, like all of us, your end comes at some point. Hopefully it takes forever to get there, but you want to leave the loved ones behind with everything right there. Get peace of mind by taking and finding the right life insurance with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com. Locked On Astros Postcast on a Friday night. I hope you guys are having a great one. Astros giving you a good start to that Friday night, and they did it quickly, too. It was like a 2-hour baseball game. You guys, if you've listened to me for years, you know how much I get just so giddy for fast baseball games. There's nothing better in life than a baseball game that's played in 2 hours and 5 minutes. It is just, it's awesome. And that happens when you go out and you have a baseball game where the pitchers dominate. And Tarek Skubal this year for the Tigers has been filthy. Man, that guy has got an absolutely wicked arm. I mean, he just throwing 100 miles an hour. He's got great stuff. They have a staff ace. And he's pitched like that. He's pitched like a Cy Young candidate this year in the American League. Tonight, the Astros won the battle. And if you go back and you look at all of his starts and the stats that he's put up this year, one of the more impressive things that the Astros pulled off is that they didn't strike out a lot. They only struck out, twice tonight against Tarek Skubal. And now the Astros are always a team that does not strike out a lot. They only strike out 4 times in the baseball game tonight 2 against Skubal, then 2 against Brisky, whatever his name is, that came in. He had 2 strikeouts as well. But to not strike out a lot against Skubal and to put a crooked number up against him quickly, and really it was that third time through the lineup. And we see that happen across the entire sport. Typically, managers that don't have guys they trust in, they'll be quick to get to the bullpen, once you've got a third time through the lineup. Simple as that. And this team tonight got through it. Obviously, Altuve had the only 2 hits there for a while. Really good to see him swinging the bat with some authority, getting the extra base hits, because that was part of the storyline in the month of May. Was Jose Altuve went from awesome in April to just he was not good in May. He's got that batting average back up, though, now to 298. He started to take some walks as well. And, again, hitting the ball with some authority, gets the OPS number back over 800. That was great for him. Of course, Bregman, it was a tough night overall at the plate for him, but that was a big swing of the bat. That triple really meant a lot. And then, of course, Yordan, that's a pro. When Yordan gets to the plate there, and you see him just go up there and get that ball into the outfield and get that run home immediately. Those are the positive things that I really take from the game. Now, I'm not worried. Everybody's, I know that everybody on, in the internet and everywhere else wants everything to be perfect every night. And it's never going to be that way. Sorry. You're just going to have to find something else to be mad at. Tonight, you got all your runs in 1 inning. And look, there is a little bit of a trend to that with this team this season. It's just simple. I get it. But did they score 4 in the inning? They did. Did they win the game 4-0? They did. That's fine tonight. You live with it. But I just thought that they really did take overall a game plan, and it was the same the other side of it. And Joe Espada, I actually had the pregame show from the TV on, and Joe Espada was talking about it in the pregame about the game plan tonight against Skubal. He is a guy that fills the strike zone up. He throws a lot of strikes. He's highly efficient. You can't go up there and sit and wait on pitches because he's going to get ahead, and then you're going to have a terrible at-bat. And then tonight, we're going to sit there and complain that, they just let pitches go by all night. I loved their approach. I loved going up there and swinging early. If he's going to throw you something to hit it. Now, look, they didn't hit it because he has great stuff, and he executed his pitches most of the night, but they eventually got to him. And that 6th inning, and of course being capped by your new first baseman tonight, Mauricio Dubon, who's been awesome of late for the Astros. Just a really solid inning. For a night where you only pounded out 6 hits in the game, I thought their approach at the plate was really, really good. Results will come with an approach like that every night, consistently at some point. You will start to hit the ball hard. You will start to see balls fall in certain spots. You'll see more baseballs go over the fence. When you are disciplined, when you're not swinging out of the zone, when you're taking good at bats when the spots. And they didn't even walk much. They haven't walked a lot this year. That's been one of the more interesting nuggets of this season. They've actually been very, very bad at drawing walks overall. But tonight, their offense, I thought, just had a really good, solid approach at the plate, and it resulted in a bunch of runs being scored in 1 inning, and that's exactly what the Astros needed to do to get that victory. And, of course, it's a lot easier to do it when your starting pitcher goes out there and absolutely dominates through 7 innings of shutout baseball like he did there. So the news of the day leading into this one was the release of Jose Abreu. I did want to share some thoughts on it because it's a significant day. It's the end of an era of a very bad signing for the Astros, and we'll talk about that here in just a second on the Locked On Astros Postcast. PrizePicks. Have you played PrizePicks yet? What are you waiting for? Why? NBA still going on. You can get in on that action. I think the NHL has still got a game left. And right now at PrizePicks is where you need to be. Even with baseball, of course. You're picking more or less every night. It is a great way to make games more exciting. Who doesn't love more excitement in their life when it comes to watching sports? You put your lineups together, you get it rolling. You are going to love this game. With PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. You can make a PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 players' stat projections, and you're locked in. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays, which increases your chance of getting a win, to getting your entry fee back if you have a losing lineup on Friday. So get started today by downloading the app and using the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB when you download the PrizePicks app today. All right, the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight on a Friday night. Thank you for taking some time out to join me here. We'll be back with you, of course, tomorrow when the Astros and Tigers play Game 2. 3:10 tomorrow, 1:10 on Sunday. We'll be with you for all the games. And then next week, got a little bit of an interesting twist to the schedule next week, because the Astros are going to play Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's it during the week until Friday when they head up to New York to play the Mets. But we'll be with you all week, of course, as well, for Astros taking on the Rockies. I'm looking at the wrong week. They play the White Sox this week. Duh, that's Tuesday. That's Tuesday through Thursday. Either way, we'll be with you all week. If you're new to the channel tonight, please hit the subscribe button. Would greatly appreciate it. Tell everybody you know to go hit subscribe and come join us when these games wrap up. We're live when the game ends within a couple of minutes. So come on and get instant reaction, instant feedback, instant talk in the chat. You guys are active again in the chat tonight, so keep it going. Keep doing your thing. Fight with each other. Do whatever. Let's talk Jose Abreu now, which gets people riled up on the internet. I tweeted it out, which you can follow me at Connor Michael, as you see there on the screen. I always like to see if I can get my finger right to it. Right there. There you go. Connor Michael. I just asked the question, was Jose Abreu the worst signing? And I think that that's where a lot of things get lost, because some people can't read the word signing in Astros history. 3 years, just under $60 million. Of course, it happened in a period of time where the Astros did not have a general manager. And at the time, and I love these people. One guy's like, why are you in hindsight? Oh, you're the stale take in hindsight. No, it's not in hindsight. It's analyzing the situation. We can call a spade a spade. When the situation dictates that it's called out of how this was a massive mistake in Astros history and one of the worst off seasons they've ever had, and part of the reason why their baseball team is where they are at today, it's worthy of mentioning. That was an off season that saw them pay $12 million to Michael Brantley, who played 19 games or something. Pay Jose Abreu 3 years, almost $60 million, and pay Rafael Montero 3 years and 33 to 35, whatever it was. It was a horrific offseason, and it set this franchise into a bad spot that has aided in why they are so bad in this moment. It completely handcuffed their ability to go and do other things, and it was too much money spent on 3 players that have basically done nothing for you. And you also have a 4th player on your roster who's making a ton of money that is also doing nothing for you. Just think about that, how much money they have tied up in guys that are doing in the last 2 years that have basically given them nothing. That's bad business, and that is worthy of being called. That's not a stale take. I mean, even I said, I'd probably go back and find the tweet when they did it. I didn't love giving him 3 years. And now look, I, at the time, was in the working media, and I was down there for the press conference. I was at a lot of the stuff. I was around a lot of people. I talked to a lot of people. I heard it from somebody. There was not a single team that was offering Jose Abreu a 3rd year on a contract. And who offered him a 3rd year on a contract? Jeff Bagwell. And we've poked at that ad nauseum. I get it. But today is the end of that. And it is a reminder of when you make poor decisions on running your franchise at a time, it will bite you in the rear end. And that bit the Astros in the rear end. They are swallowing $30 million. They are having to say, basically, I mean, look, honestly, they're swallowing 59 point whatever it was outside of his okay month of September last year, where he was gifted a bunch of runs batted in and he hit like 260, and his legit good October. They handed him a $59 million lottery ticket that does not have state income tax here or in the state of Florida where he lives. I mean, it was bad. It was as bad as it gets. And, I got a lot of responses to the tweet today of was the worst signing in Astros history. Everybody goes, Carlos Lee. And I'm like, do we not look at stats? Carlos Lee actually hit. That's the problem. Like, I know we have this thought in our head from Carlos Lee for all those years ago. Yeah, he was a fat boy out in left field that couldn't move, couldn't play a lick of defense. He was in the wrong league. He should have been in the American League. But like the first 4 out of the 6 years of the contract, he was actually a good hitter. He was an all-star one year. He was like over 300 multiple times. He had over 25 home runs like every year until the last like 2 years or 3 years. I think he hit like 19, but he was still a decent hitter when he hit 19. He had like an 8-something OPS. Jose Abreu couldn't sniff that or couldn't dream of having an 800 OPS at all. Jose Abreu leads the Astros after, I'll just give you the stats. I mean, this is again, and you knew this at the time, and he played a total of 176 games for the Astros, and he hit 217 with 20 home runs and 97 runs batted in. And real quick reference for all the people that sent me Carlos Lee today as being the worst Astros signing, which was a 6-year, $100 million deal. So basically, on the per year, it was about the same as what Jose Abreu made, and it was just 3 years longer, and he also wasn't 37 when he signed it. Carlos Lee, in his time with the Astros, 6 years, hit 286 with 133 home runs, slugged 479, got on base 338, had an 817 OPS and a 117 OPS plus. Jose Abreu's OPS plus of the Astros, 74. League average is 100, by the way. So, like, that whole Carlos Lee was the worst signing in Astros history, no. He just happened to be the first $100 million guy, and he was fat, and he got fatter because the only thing he cared about, if you talk to anybody that played with him, was his horses that were betting, that he was betting on constantly in the clubhouse. And, of course, the fact that he actually hit. So, Jose Abreu takes the cake. He's the worst signing in Astros history, and it's not close. Yeah. Shouldn't say it's not close. Lance McCullers' contract, it's not a free agent. Contracts that have been handed out. Contracts, we're talking Lance McCullers being up there is one of the worst contracts they've handed out. But it had to happen. It had to end. The egg is on their face. The egg is on Jim Crane for the way that it was handled the offseason. It's on Jeff Bagwell. The whole dog and pony show that they put on sending him out to the minor, which, again, this is nothing on Abreu. Everything that he said, he was so self-critical, and you could really, it killed him. It absolutely, because think about it. Think about it if it was your life. That's the only thing he's ever done. It's the only thing he's ever going to be that, or I shouldn't say that's the only thing he's ever be that great. It's that, that's the thing that he knows. It's been his identity. And right in front of his eyes, it's going away. It's going to go away. But this is also a good warning that, 1, you have qualified people making decisions. 2, you don't sign 36-year-olds to 3-year deals with that much money involved, thinking that they're going to be able to handle it and be that good when he had a clear decline in power and was only, if you went back and looked at it, and I talked to somebody that was in Chicago about this. When he was in Chicago that last year, he became so obsessed with his OPS number, all he cared about was racking up hits, and he just slapped everything to right on purpose. He just slapped singles to right field to keep his batting average up, to keep his on base up, to keep his OPS up. And he totally gave away power. And I think you see it as part of the effect of what's happened to his game. And then the skills deteriorate, your timing deteriorates as you get older, and here we are. And it's also another reminder for me of how asinine it is, this whole, we don't sign guys to long deals when they're 26, but you sign a guy to a huge deal for 3 years when he's 36, and this is what happens. Pay your young guys that are worthy of being paid, keep them around, and then when they're old and they stink, you can let them go. Like the White Sox did with Jose Abreu. It was a bad era of Astros baseball. Glad it's over. Glad we don't have to watch him play every single day. They are going to have to do something to address the position. I'm happy for John Singleton that he's going to get a lot of looks now that when they play right-handed hitting. He hits the baseball hard. He takes good quality at bats. The question will be is can he do enough between now and the next month or whatever to show that he has the ability to play there the majority of the time. It's up to him. It's up to him. We'll see if he, as Dana Brown said, takes the bull by the horns with that one. Again, Astros tomorrow against the Tigers, 3:10 first pitch after the game ends. We'll be live right here on the Locked On Sports Houston page. Hit the subscribe button again if you're new tonight. Appreciate you guys joining me. Talk to you tomorrow night after another win right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.